My name is Alyssa Jennette. I have been an agent with the Stonesong Literary Agency for almost 10 years now. My background is in illustration. I have a degree from the Maryland Institute College of Art. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I represent authors and illustrators. And I've been had just the great pleasure of having a lot of success with both sides. Overwhelmingly, I've seen from editors that they want a much more commercial structure like that. And as much as I like structures that take risks, I do think that there obviously has to be a certain level of understanding from the author perspective how to craft a narrative and create a format that does make sense to any reader. But if there's like a cool way to like get a twist in there, I love to see it.
If an author wanted to nudge a book a few notches toward commercial, how would they do it?
If possible, heighten the stakes in some way, maybe through a specific deadline, or through just like much bigger consequences. If it's something that's like a personal stakes, something that is a little bit more like terrifying and like life destroying. And then like so it's and something that's like a lot more external, right? Like we're not necessarily lingering as much in the character's mind. I mean that can definitely work. Like I mean a sort of typical example of that is like Gone Girl, which is obviously takes place in two characters' heads basically the entire time, but you're well aware of all of the ways that, you know, these people's lives could be ruined or they could go to prison, like if these things come to pass. So stakes like that level of high stakes has to come with something that has more interiority and more like literary quality in that regard. So literary writing obviously tends to be a little bit more, I guess you could say, stylish in a way. Obviously, your mileage may vary, but I think that commercial writing tends to be shorter sentences, more direct, more, for lack of a better word, obvious. Something that you're not necessarily working as hard to see the subtext of or get any hidden meaning from, or having to like really think too much about what a scene just conveyed to the reader.
One thing I like to joke is that you can understand commercial writing after one glass of wine. To understand literary writing, you need one glass of coffee.
Wow, that honestly is really brilliant. I had to remember that because that's honestly really smart. Yeah, read your literary fiction in the morning and your commercial fiction before bed.
Why do you think we're going more to commercial now? And what happens in the world to make the world go more literary so the literary writers don't panic?
Well, obviously, we are in a time, at least in America, although I think this is beyond America culturally, where, you know, people are having a little bit more struggle than maybe they have in other eras. And that means that generally speaking, with our entertainment, we want to exert less mental energy. And I think that commercial fiction does a lot to serve that impulse, which is completely understandable. That being said, I do think that there are places that, as wonderful as commercial fiction is, it's not necessarily giving us everything we could want. It's like any other diet, right? Like you can't only eat ice cream, as wonderful as it is and as perfect a food as it is. Sometimes you do have to have some broccoli. So I think that we could stand to challenge ourselves a little bit more as readers, but also I think in that sense, there is a way I think to guide us that way, sort of through what I was saying before about like literary authors working to um, tweak their style a little bit to give commercial readers what they're looking for in terms of like stakes and excitement and suspense and payoff, while still obviously conveying something a little bit more than the sum of its parts.